Alright, so last night we did the first bit of patch 5.1. The Scions who are trapped in the first, their Aether is going out of whack. If we don't get them back in their bodies soon, they could become disconnected forever. So we found a professional in his little hidey hole. We beat up his familiars to get him to talk to us. A little Numo friend. He came here, checked out the patients. Alize summoned the familiar Angelo, who can help him out. But now Kai Shear's come running because Dulia Chai is freaking out back at whatever the fuck that town's called, Yulmore, because we don't know, but basically told us to go find Alfino. So Alfino and I are going to go to Yulmore and figure out why the fuck our beautiful cat mom is upset. Lady Chai's up in the parlor. Best not keep her waiting, eh? Well, not here seems out of the ordinary, though I do not see Lady Chai anywhere. Probably pacing around outside again, staring off in the distance and all that sighing. Strange. Let's see if we can find her and discover the source of her distress.
Thank heavens you're here.
Lady Chai, whatever is the matter?
I knew not where else to turn. Oh, this is all too much for my poor heart to bear alone.
Alone? What of Master Chai?
That is the very reason I summoned you. He's gone.
What? What happened?
It all began after the events at Mount Gulg. With Lord Vorthry out of the way, we all agreed that a new leader must be chosen.
And so you held an election?
Yes, well, sort of. Not a single person volunteered to stand, you see. After a lifetime of leisure, we free citizens have grown somewhat indolent. Readapting to the harsh realities of life is trying enough, but to take charge of a broken city as well? No one wanted such responsibility. Nevertheless, Yulmore could not well do without a leader, and so we decided that anyone and everyone should be considered a candidate. And after we cast our ballots and tallied the votes, the mayorship fell upon my dear husband.
Well, given the manner in which he orchestrated the construction of the giant Talos, none could deny his leadership qualities.
But even before then, he had proven himself at Daedalus Stoneworks, don't forget. He is more than qualified for the role. The perfect choice. Indeed. I told him as much when his victory was first announced. But perhaps I was too forceful in my attempt to encourage him. For shortly after that, he vanished without a word.
You believe he was so daunted by the burden of leadership that he felt compelled to flee? Please, Lady Chai, dry your eyes. Your husband does not strike me as the sort of man who would abandon his duty, much less his beloved wife. There has to be some other reason for his absence.
You truly think so? What about you? What do you think has become of my husband?
I don't know, but whatever it is, he wouldn't have fled.
And there you have it, Lady Chai. You needn't worry. Master Chai loves you more than all the world, and he will return. Wherever he may have gone, rest assured we will find him.
Thank you, my dear boy. You have set my mind at ease. I will trust in my husband and await his return.
Makes no sense for Master Chai to have left without a word, but even if he had, he would not have done so unobserved. Someone here will have seen something, I'm sure of it. We should split up and inquire as to whether anyone saw him leave, or failing that, if they have any idea where he might have gone. I will meet you at the Glory Gate. Compare notes later on. Master Chai? Why, yes, I spoke with him recently. Though recall he was in a rather dour mood. Concerned about Ylmore's neglect of industry, you see. With Lord Vauthry's apparently inexhaustible stores of meal, and no great need for money, it's little wonder our businesses were all but forgotten under his rule. But I assured Master Chai that the Boutique of Splendors will do all it can to contribute to the revival of trade here in Ylmore, which seemed to satisfy him. He took his leave soon after. Aye, I recall a man fitting that description. Asked to speak with the poor buggers lately come from right. Said he wanted to know the state of things down in the derelicts, and you could be sure we gave him an earful. Lack of food, medicine, clothing, there was plenty to tell. We hunt nigh and low for whatever we can scavenge, but it's barely enough to fill our bellies. But folk here don't just want to survive, they want to thrive. When he heard that, he started mumbling to himself. Something about finding us work, I think. Fair play to him, though. Not content with having his ear chewed about the derelicts, he asked about the other settlements and all. After that, I can't really say. Looked like he was heading to Gate Town when I last saw him. Looking for Master Chai, are you? Something amiss? When last I saw him, he seemed ready to collapse from exhaustion. I insisted he rest and catch his breath, and we talked for a while about his concerns over the city's defenses, amongst other things. He made more than a few valid points. Many of our men are still recovering after your confrontation with Lord Vauthry, and finding General Ranjit in a heap in the middle of the plaza shook us all to the core. The man commanded no small amount of loyalty, and some of our longest-serving soldiers seemed lost without him. Indeed, a number of them left. Not that we blame you, of course. Without you and yours, we would still be blind to the error of our ways. Anyway, funding permitting, I proposed replenishing our ranks with volunteers from the derelicts in Gatetown. We have a duty to protect not only Yulmore, you see, but the surrounding regions of Calusia as well. And I, for one, would welcome any man or woman willing to take up arms for that cause. Indeed, I told him as much, and he seemed relieved to hear it. It was on that note we parted ways. He headed outside, as I recall. Ah, there you are. How did you fare? Have you learned anything which might offer a clue as to Master Chai's whereabouts? Interesting. He apparently paid a visit to the Queen Bee as well. They discussed the possibility of granting admission to customers from outside Yulmore, an idea to which the proprietor was surprisingly receptive. Sounds like he's got great plans for the place. Yulmore, I mean, not the bee. Perhaps, but the question remains, where did he go after leaving the city? All we know for certain is that Master Chai has shown great concern not only for Yulmore, but its surrounding settlements. It seems logical, then, that having consulted those within the city walls, he would wish to do the same to those without. Kinliana, if you would go and make inquiries and write, I shall do likewise in Stilltide. Gatetown I leave to you, Kaishir. Fair enough. Where should we meet when we've finished? Well, Top Rung would seem to be the next most likely destination. Let us reconvene there. With any luck, one of us will have stumbled upon him by then, but if not, we will be well situated to continue our search. No, the name doesn't ring any bells, but there was a rather dapper-looking Mistle gentleman here not long ago. He wanted to talk about relations between Wright and Yulmore, or rather the lack of them. We lost a great many people to their promise of mail and the chance of a lavish life among the free. And Vothri thought to take even more from us, conscripting the few able-bodied men we had left to guard his paradise. I needn't tell you what happened when the Sin Eaters came. Such things are hard to forgive. But Vothri's gone now, and we're curious to see what will become of Yulmore in his absence. But I told your friend, China's, was it? And I'm sure the others said the same. Not what he wanted to hear, I suppose, but he left because he left soon after, and that was that. He paid a visit to both Wright and Gatetown as well, did he? I see. Kaishir and I gleaned much the same. He seems determined to salvage what goodwill might yet remain among the settlements of Calusia, the only likely place he has left to go being Amity. Come, if we are quick, we may yet catch up with him. Ileana, Alfino, Kaishir, what are you doing here? We might ask you the same, Master Chai. We've been looking all over for you. Looking for me? Whatever for? Lady Chai has been nigh inconsolable in your absence. She claims you disappeared without so much as a word, and bade us return you to her side. What in blazes are you talking about? I left her a letter in our chambers. Though, I suppose she could have overlooked it. And when she gets an idea into her head, I can only apologize. No harm done, Master Chai. But since we are here, might I ask what compelled you to come all this way? We were told you had been elected mayor, and from what we had gathered from the nearby villages, you've been inquiring about the people's grievances. Is it safe to assume you mean to take office? Now, let's not jump to conclusions. I did seek to learn about the problems faced by the people of Calusia, that much is true, but I am by no means sure if I am the man to solve them. Tackling our many challenges will require resources, and until I have secured them, it would not be right to assume the role of mayor. See, and you believe said resources can be found here? Indeed, the people's grievances are many, but in the course of my inquiries I have already met with several individuals willing to lend their aid in addressing them. However, there remains one individual crucial to my plans, a man whose counsel might yet make a mayor of me. With respect, such foresight is, in itself, proof of your suitability. The city needs you, Master Chai, and I am certain this man of whom you speak, whoever he may be, will reach the same conclusion. For what little it is worth, we will vouch for you should he require convincing. Whatever you need, you can count on us. I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything. You got your actions to speak for you. For as long as I can remember, all I ever wanted was to make it in Yulmore. That dream's gone now. Burst like a bubble, or a boil more like. Anyway, outside of repaying Master Alfino, I haven't a clue what to do with myself. Spent most days in a daze, you know. You've been running up and down, trying to find a way to fix this mess for everyone. And I reckon you could do it. You got this lot up Mount Gold, didn't you? How hard could marrying be? You're gonna steer Yulmore to a better future. I know it. And I want to help. Properly help. Do something that makes a difference. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll work it out on the way. If you'll let me come with you, that is. You give me entirely too much credit, the lot of you, but I can't deny it gives me heart. Come then, let us press on together. Thank you, Master Chai. We mustn't get ahead of ourselves. Yulmore needs more than a man with good intentions. Why I'm here, to find one with the experience needed to see the city thrive. Who is this man exactly, and are you certain he's here in Amity? Brendan's his name, and yes, he is, or was. I'd scarcely begun to explain myself when he decided his time was better spent elsewhere. He served as chief advisor to Valtry's father when he was in office. Ranjit was the mayor's right hand, one might say Brendan was the left, and between them they kept Yulmore on the road to prosperity. The city needs more than a mere man of business, which is why I must find him. But even if you do, what makes you think he will listen? Before giving chase, might it not be wise to speak with those who know him here in Amity? They may be able to shed some light on his reason for rejecting your overtures out of hand. Yes, I suppose that makes sense. Perhaps we should start with Tristol, then. As I recall, you made a rather favorable impression on him. I'm certain he would be willing to talk to us. Greetings, friend, and to you too, Master Chai. I presume you're here to ask about after Brendan? I couldn't help overhearing your earlier exchange. Yes, well, with Valtry gone, Yulmore wants for a leader. Should no one rise to the challenge, the city could very well collapse. I came here seeking Brendan's counsel in hope that he would build a better Yulmore we could build a better Yulmore together. And that is still my wish, but given how abominably you were mistreated there, I will quite understand if you choose not to help. Worry not, Master Chai. I bear no grudge against you or the people of Yulmore, and I would not see you suffer for Valtry's villainy. As you no doubt gathered from your meeting earlier, Brendan can be rather uncompromising. He has his principles, you see, and little patience for anyone he deems less committed to their own. Your desire to right the wrongs of your past, of Yulmore's past, is quite admirable, but I fear the guilt you bear on the city's behalf works against you. I could see it in your eyes, and the way you carry yourself. It goes without saying he sees it as well. You must let those feelings go, Master Chai. Be more assertive, commit to this course, and prove to him Yulmore has the resolve to change. The resolve to change. I believe he was heading towards Pit 8 when he left. If you need to go and speak with him, I suggest you be firm and clear in your intentions. Very well, to Pit 8 we shall go, and I will not take no for an answer. Nay, not even a maybe.
Well, well, it's you again. Well, I see you've invited your friends. Need them to fight your battles for you, do you?
I didn't invite them, as it happens, though they are indeed my friends. Well, not only mine, but every true Yulmoran's. They are the ones who awakened us to the truth, to Lord Vorthry's villainy, the famous warriors of darkness.
Are they now?
Yes, they are. It would be no exaggeration to call them our saviors. We owe much and more to their kindness, but we cannot depend on that kindness forever. To do so would be a little different from entrusting our affairs to Lord Vorthry. Nay, we must learn to stand on our own 2 feet. And I would have them present to witness my attempt.
Hear, hear, Master Chai.
Your sentiments are admirable. Yet admirable sentiments do not a nation make. In my capacity as advisor, I once strove to build a better Yulmore. Gave honest counsel to my superiors, drafted laws for the benefit of one and all. But in time, my values fell out of favor. There was no need for them in this paradise Vorthry was creating. And so I left my homeland behind. But you, Chai News, you were content to wallow in indolence under Vorthry's auspices. And so I cannot help but ask myself what manner of nation you intend to build.
I can offer no simple answer to that question. But this much I will say. It is my hope that Yulmore can become a nation which her citizens might freely choose to build together. A great many people, myself included, flocked to Yulmore seeking sanctuary. The alternative being to live in fear and die in pain. It seemed an easy choice. And sanctuary we found. As much food and drink as we could ever want. Secured at the cost of the surrounding villages. Little wonder the people gathered at our doorstep, begging to work among the bonded. The free were blind to it all, of course. Content to, as you say, wallow in indolence. In ignorance. Were I mayor, I would first take stock of the city's resources and see that they were assigned equitably. Our days of reckless consumption are behind us. The distinction between free and bonded died with Vorthry. The needs of rich and poor alike must be considered if our nation is to survive. To which end I would take steps to secure channels for supplies, rekindle relations with nearby settlements, who re-establish industry, reach out to neighboring nations, and the list goes on and on. But I am no ruler, nor even a politician. I am an entrepreneur. My expertise lie in planning and profit. I haven't the knowledge or experience to run a nation. Please, Rendon, will you not help me? Together, we could solve the city's problems. Build a Yulmore for the people.
A Yulmore for the people. I rather like the sound of that. But before I offer you my counsel, I would be certain of your ability to perform the duties of office.
You would?
You ask me to help you solve Yulmore's problems, but first I would see you solve one on your own. Accomplish that, and you will prove both to me and the people that you are a man worth following.
Right then. Is there a particular issue you would have me resolve? You seem to have conducted an assessment of the problems Yulmore now faces. I assume you'll agree, therefore, that the matter of dwindling food stores is the most pressing. Yes, meal being neither a desirable nor less sustainable option, I assume alternative foodstuffs are now required to fill the void. And a man who hungers is not like to contribute much to society, save violence, perhaps. So tell me, how do you propose to solve this problem? Give me a satisfactory answer, and I will consider offering you my counsel. A combination of measures would seem to be in order. One to address the immediate issue of supply, and another that of production. Go on. For the present, Yulmore's coffers can be used to purchase food from our neighbors. That would afford us time to address the underlying problem that affects us all, the long-standing neglect of agriculture. The villages that once served as sources of food for trade-stuffs must be repopulated, their means of production restored. This assumes, of course, that we can rekindle relations with our neighbors, guarantee security and stability in the region, and, most importantly, find people willing to leave the city and take up the rebuilding effort. My, think of all that by yourself, did you? Well, yes, it began as a rather abstract plan I drafted some time ago, after speaking with the peoples of Yulmore and the nearby settlements. You've impressed me, Chinos. I have? Well, that is a relief. Oh, you haven't secured my support just yet, only my attention. Grand plans will not be enough to persuade the masses. You would ask them to rebuild, you must provide them the means to do so. Fair point, Rendon, and one to which I have given much thought. I propose the use of Talos to aid in the establishment and maintenance of these settlements. Their employment should drastically improve efficiency and ultimately increase production. Talos? But Daedalus Stoneworks closed their doors years ago. Without a ready supply of the necessary equipment, the people would starve before your plans could be put into effect. Well, as the heir to Daedalus Stoneworks, it just so happens that Talos are my field of expertise. With a little help, I'm certain we can acquire what we need in no time at all. Brendan's quite right. Building Talos from scratch would require time we simply do not have, which is why I propose we make use of the long-abandoned Talos which wander the wilds of Calusia. It will need to be deactivated, of course, and if memory serves, the tools required to do so should still be at top rung. Come with me. Aha! The old memory hasn't let me down. This chest contains canisters filled with a dastardly potent insulating powder capable of halting the flow of ether in a Talos. We need only get within throwing distance of one and let it fly, thus disabling them without damaging them. Ingenious. An old trick of the trade, nothing more. Once disabled, it should be a simple enough matter to get them to march to Yulmore. More extensive repairs can wait. Ordinarily, this is where I would ask you to run along and do the deed, but as I have said before, it's high time we learn to stand on our own 2 feet. Thankfully, throwing canisters is something even I should be able to manage. Come off it, Master Chai. Even if the Talos ain't a threat, there's 101 other things out there waiting to make a meal of you. That's as may be, Kaishir, but Rendon tasked me with solving this problem, and I will not sit idly by while others risk everything to see my harebrained scheme realized. Not this time. Which isn't to say the mere thought of it doesn't fill me with dread. Truth be told, I can't feel my legs. But if I'm to prove I'm a man worth following, I must lead by example. Well said, Master Chai. Hear, hear. Yes, well, it should go without saying that I have no intention of dying for this. I've always preferred living to see the fruits of my labors. And to make sure I do, I will require your help. As Kaishir says, these lands are dangerous if one is not careful. I would ask you to use my spyglass to look out for any beasts that could get in the way of my work. I will also need you to alert me when it is safe to subdue the Talos. Understood? Good. Then let's be off to the quick way, through the north gate, and see if we can't find a suitable vantage point for you. Yeet! I did it! I did it! Let's move on to another Talos, shall we? I do believe I'm getting the hang of this. You may leave the next one to me, Kinliana. Yeet! Haha, that should do it. Now we have all we need to proceed. I could scarcely believe it. It was reckless. It was a reckless, foolish plan, but somehow it worked. I did it. Master Chai, I believe I owe you an apology. Your plan to replenish Yulmore's food stores showed forethought and sound judgment. What's more, it is plain your time at Daedalus Stoneworks has equipped you to lead, as evidenced by the extraordinary company you keep. You, sir, are more than qualified to be the next mayor of Yulmore. I thank you for your vote of confidence, but the fact remains I am wholly ignorant of the world of politics, which is why I would ask you to join me and grant Yulmore the benefit of your counsel. I would be honored. When the people behold these Talos, I have no doubt they will lend you their support. It would seem Yulmore's leadership is at last in capable hands, would you not agree? We should probably be getting back soon, Master Chai. After you've tinkered with the Talos and all that, Lady Chai's worried sick.
Right then. Form a line and make for Yulmore.
What's that noise? Wicked White! Runaway Talos! Call the guard! Stay back! All of you!
Is that... Darling, you're back.
But of course I'm back. You didn't see...
Dearest, I can't...
And he died.
Oh! Oh dear.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry, my darling. It's just the sight of you filled me with such joy, I couldn't help myself.
Oh, no, it's all right, dear. I should have just come out and said what it was I was intending, instead of entrusting the task to a hastily scribbled letter.
Does that mean you'll do it?
Well, I'm here, aren't I? I mean, not that my absence signified any unwillingness, you understand? Oh, no, naught could be further from the truth. I only left to enlist the aid of the former mayor's senior advisor. And now that I have it, I believe I am ready to take office.
Oh, how wonderful!
And again.
Dearest, please!
The true mastermind behind the mayor. True mastermind. That was quite a reception, one Master Chai will struggle to forget. More seriously, the arrival of Atelis has seized the public's attention. Once word is spread around Gilmore, it will be that much simpler to gather one and all so that Master Chai can make his inaugural address. No need to fret, Kinliana. I've never felt better. And now not at all overawed by the prospect of addressing the assembled masses of Yulmore. As for where to do it, if we're to accommodate everyone who might feasibly wish to attend, I suppose the only place large enough would be the Emergent. And I will go and spread the word among the citizens, both free and bonded, that they are to assemble there to meet their new mayor. You there, Kaishir, was it? Would you go and inform the residents of Gate Town and the derelicts? Of course I will. Good lad. I will let the guards know not to bar the way to Vothri's chambers. It goes without saying that I expect the Warriors of Darkness to attend, assuming she's available. Might as well see it through to the bitter end, eh? The doorman at the Crown Lift will show you up. Ah yes, Master Chai told us to expect you. The Emergent is already filling up with people of all persuasions, free and bonded, citizens and non-citizens. But for you, our guest of honor, we have reserved a place at the front. Right this way, miss.
Go on, dear.
Thank you all for gathering here today. But before going any further, could I ask the free citizens of Yulmore to look around? Tis a sight none of us would ever have seen under Lord Forthry's rule. Not only do we stand in the familiar presence of those we once called the Bonded, but today we welcome the peoples of the Derelicts and Gate Town too. Today we welcome the Warriors of Darkness, come to bear witness to Yulmore's new beginning. As you know, an election was recently held, at the end of which I had the honor of being chosen to succeed Lord Vothry. You place great faith in me, and I promise to do my utmost to live up to your expectations, and I will seek always to carry out the duties of this office with integrity and fairness. Always, I say, but not forever. Let it be known that I do not intend to hold this post indefinitely. I consider myself but an acting mayor, who will serve only for the interim, while Yulmore is reshaped according to a new set of values. No longer can we think of ourselves as divided, as the free and the bonded, citizens and non-citizens. The systems put in place by Lord Vorthry must be undone. But even as we tear down the old, we must give thought to the new, to what manner of nation Yulmore should become. Whatever the answer may be, it cannot be decided by one man alone. And so I propose that an open forum be held, that we might all discuss how best to strive towards a better future. However, there can be no talk of the morrow unless we first address the issues of today. Securing new sources of food, rebuilding relations with our neighbors, re-establishing industry. There is much and more that needs to be done. Too much for a mere man of business. And so I pledge instead to do everything in my power to ensure our city's security and stability while we all work together to see these problems solved. The road before us will not be easy, and I know full well how daunting the prospect of honest labor may seem to some of you. But we must accept the reality of our circumstances. We must move forward. This much we owe to ourselves and to the brave heroes who risked their lives to bring back the night. Once we have shored up our city's foundations and regained some semblance of normality, let us reconvene to speak of the future. Until then, I humbly ask that you lend me and each other your strength. For Yulmore!
That was a fine speech, Master Chai. I believe your words stirred every soul in attendance. Stirred them to action, I hope. If I have learned anything at all from this, it is that change begins with the individual. It's but a matter of finding the strength to take the first step. Assuming my fellow Yulmorans can, it shall be my honor and privilege to help them walk this road we have chosen. We must not forget the individuals who made all these changes possible. Were it within my power, I would carve a tribute to your heroism in the very stone upon which this city stands. I hate to change the subject, darling, but now that you've officially taken office, have you given any thought to your mayoral seat? We will not be moving into the emergent, dearest. It's too big, for one thing, and far too far from the people for another. We'll retain our current residence, and I will govern from here in the parlor. Oh, I was hoping you'd say that. I much prefer the view from the parlor. Begging your pardon, Master Chai, but have you got time for a word? Yes, of course. Hath and bet? Aye, that's me. I liked your speech, but there's folk outside these walls that don't have enough food to even last till tomorrow, and more who are counting on their crumbs. If you've a plan to change that, I want to help set things in motion. Then we have much to discuss. No sooner do I take office than my work begins in earnest. Well, I suppose I brought it upon myself. Thank you again for your help, Kinliana. I hope to see you again before long. What a day! I don't know what it means exactly, but I do know I've got plenty to think about. I sense we all have a great deal to consider. I had resolved to remain here until such a time as Yulmore's future was secured, but it is clear to me now that the city is in capable hands. I have every confidence they will find their way, and I believe it is time we went in on ours. So Alfino's leaving too, is he? Seems like everyone's moving on. Everything's changing. I've been thinking about what I should do in all this. Like I told you, I spent most of my life dreaming about living here with my friends. In paradise. That paradise is gone, but something better's taken its place, and I reckon I want to be a part of it. This Yulmore for the people Master Chai has been going on about ain't gonna build itself after all. Not that I'm much of a builder. Me and my friends will find a way to make a difference, though. Help keep things changing for the better. Far nobler dream than the one to which you clung before, and one I am happy to say we share. Whatever path you choose, I will pray for your success. Well, when you put it like that, there's no going back now, is there? We've got a few ideas on how we can do our bit. It's just a matter of making the first step. Truly, to see Kaishir thus inspired by our actions is inspiring in itself. Yet, however much I may wish to stay and see what comes of his efforts here in Yulmore, we have matters of our own to attend to. Come, we should return to the Crystal Tower. Mayhap Beklug's studies have borne fruit in our absence. Welcome back. We are given to understand a new mayor has taken office in Yulmore. Indeed, our good friend Master Chai was elected by popular vote, and after some considerable soul-searching, chose to accept the post. It's a shame you weren't able to attend his inaugural speech, though I have no doubt you will see more of him in the future. But tell me, how fared you in preparing the White Auracite? Our work did not proceed quite as expected. In your absence, we had a frank discussion on the principles of soul transference, and concluded at length that White Auracite was ill-suited for our purpose. But Urianger, did you not say that, compared to the massy soul of an Ascian, the stone could house one of ours with ease? That I did, and armed as we are with Beklug's invaluable insight, 'twould indeed prove a trifling matter, were we to disregard the inviolable link twixt mind and soul. A link which would, we did belatedly realize, be weakened most perilously in the process of rendering our souls dormant, as Auracite doth require. Thus the shedding of these fleshly simulacra, and the surfeit of ether which compriseth them, would in all likelihood deprive us of our psyches as well. It would, theoretically, be possible to channel your minds into the Auracite instead, but we would more than likely sacrifice your souls in the process. Which is why we've abandoned that plan and instead devoted our time to finding a means by which mind and soul might be transported together. We are no closer to the solution than when we first began. It is a vexing conundrum indeed, but one for which the Crystal Exarch has posited a most intriguing solution. When our discussions turned to the transference of memories in the psyche, I could not help but be reminded of a technique with which I have personal experience. Liana, do you not recall what we learned of my eyes from our encounter with Daga Une and Une? I speak of the royal eye of the Allagan imperial line, gifted to my forebears through the blood and memories of the ancient Allagans. It is by this gift that I am able to control the Crystal Tower. If we were to gain an understanding of the technology by which the Allagans were able to accomplish this transference, perhaps then we could keep the mind and soul together. Imagine, if you would, a device like unto a soul crystal, replete not only with our worldly memories, but also the bountiful energies of the soul. That is our current avenue of investigation, and we will follow it wheresoever it leads. While we are thus engaged, I think it best that Kinliana return to the source and inform Kryl and the others of our findings. Agreed. I imagine Tataru will be relieved to hear we've made progress of a sort. Then I would beg leave to relay our findings unto Thancred and Reen, and to assist where I may in their investigation of the empty. Yes, please do. If we have need of your counsel, we will not hesitate to summon you. Give our regards to Tataru, would you? There is a space whale to my right. Yep, well, an 8-seater space whale. Kinliana, you're back! How did everything go in the first? Wait, don't tell me. Kryl will be here shortly. She'll want to hear too. She's just tending to the others. Their bodies, I mean. Gods, I don't think I'll ever get used to saying that. Anyway, you can tell us everything the moment she gets here. Upon speaking with Tataru, you'll enter a cutscene-related gauntlet. Good luck, fucker.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I've carried out the treatment as per Master Matoya's instructions. It should slow the destabilization of their corporeal ether quite significantly. But tell me, how fare our friends in the first?
So this Becklug's the first to lead an authority on soulcraft, are they? Sounds promising.
And Urianger's proffered solution of white auracite is rather ingenious now that I think of it. Well, while they press on with their preparations, you may rest assured we will continue to do our part here.
Oh, you're back.
It's the boy.
And none the worse for wear, I see.
Estinian! Oh, thank the gods! We've been worried sick. Did you lose your link pearl or something?
The situation in Garlemald has become more complicated. I was making my escape from the capital when I ran into one of yours, Riol. He thought it best we come straight here.
More complicated how?
Where to begin? After entering the Empire via Razat Han, I went about my mission of investigating Black Rose. It was then, inside a provincial factory, that I encountered the one who styles himself Shadow Hunter, Gaius Baelsar. Our goals being apparently aligned, we joined forces and ventured on into the heart of the capital, to the very Imperial Palace itself. There, we found a man whom all assumed dead. But his soul lives on, and he has wrested back his flesh. Xenos ye Galvus. Nor did the surprises end there, for no sooner had we arrived than he murdered his sire in cold blood. The Emperor is dead. This sent Gaius into a rage, and he charged in, blade drawn.
What's wrong?
And now Kryl and I will be forced to watch. I've seen him in action, his body at least. You will not best him alone. Nay, death will not come easily to that thing. You would join me, but then by all means. What good it will do. The Black Wolf and the Azure Dragoon. I suppose this might suffice. Come, then. Ah, the simple pleasure of one's own flesh. Truly there is no place like home. Abomination. Whatever he is, Kinliana was barely a match for him. We stayed here much longer. Emperor Varus, your radiance, are you alright? We may wear out our welcome. Your radiance, no! Oh, must even the most middling of sport be spoiled? The world conspires to bore me. But I have no cause to remain. I leave these vermin to you. Xenos? Well, any bright ideas? Just one. Yeah. Your radiance. The intruders have taken flight. I repeat, the intruders have taken flight. Deploy all available Magitech armor. We cannot let them escape. Now we get to play as a boy. Not just any boy. Estinabro. Alert! Alert! Intruders detected in the Imperial Way. All available units converge. There seems to be no turning back. We must force our way through. There they are! Stop them! I'll just keep moving. Ugh, there's no end to them. You won't escape, Gaius Belsar. You will pay for your crimes, traitor. I was wondering when the Imperial crime would appear. Focus on the Magitech arm, or Imperial guard would appear. Focus on the arm first. Ania, on my mark. I think not. Damn it. This way, quickly. We make ourselves easy marks by moving together. I suggest we split up. Alright then, I'll take the low road, so to speak. See you outside. Stay safe. Well, well, someone's been busy. You would bar my way, would you? So be it. Come, Nidhogg, lend me your strength! Seems you've been afforded an impromptu field test. Ready all battle data and begin test sequence 2.0. Initiating synthetic aurosite system. All systems now fully functional. We haven't much time. I said ready the battle data, damn you. Now loading sample 14. You would bar my way, then you will feel the fury of Nidhogg. Not working. Ready another sample. One taken from Castromabania. Now loading sample 12. Increase generator output to maximum. Activate the Magitech field. Full power. It works! It works! Haha! Arc Ultima is unstoppable. Unstoppable. We'll see about that. Nidhogg, show them your fury!
Taste my loss.
Garleans and their Machina. Now, where are you guys?
Are you all right?
Peer into my past, did you?
Well, I didn't quite relive the experience as you did, but I bore witness to it all.
I'm still not sure what I think of this gift of yours, but no matter. Our confrontation was cut short when the Imperial Guard arrived. It was then that Xenos took his leave, citing boredom.
To think their research into the Echo could bear such fruit. Escaping death, jumping from one body to the next, and returning to his own after all this time. He is an Ascian in all but name.
It beggars belief, aye. But no more than a hero traversing the rift between worlds. My concerns are far more prosaic. With the Emperor dead and the Crown Prince missing, the Empire is in disarray. Until order is restored, assuming it even possible, we needn't fear an Imperial reprisal. And for reasons of his own, Xenos took it upon himself to rid the world of Black Rose. Riol has already gone to apprise the Alliance leaders of these developments. We may leave the matter in their hands for now.
Then perhaps we have seen the last of the fighting at Gimlet. Though, if it comes to civil war, I cannot help but fear for the provinces. Ah, I'd nearly forgotten to ask. What became of Gaius? Did he not escape with you?
That he did, but we parted ways shortly after leaving Garlemald. He claimed another threat had arisen which demanded his attention. He didn't elaborate, but the absence of some device or other in the capital gave him reason to believe they're planning something. Lest you worry, I believe he has well and truly shed the Black Wolf's pelt. Conquest is no longer his objective. We may safely leave him to his own devices.
Well, it's nice to have one less foe to worry about, even if we do have a mysterious new threat to look out for instead. Speaking of which, I'll see that Riol and Al Shinobi are made aware. Though we still know next to nothing, it can't hurt to be vigilant.
Well then, with Black Rose nipped in the bud, I believe I've fulfilled my part of the bargain.
That's true, but with the Archons still slumbering away, we were hoping you might agree to stay with us for a little bit longer.
Sorry, but I'm not inclined to extend my contract. Gaius isn't the only one with business to attend to.
Thank you for your help then, Estinian. I see why Alphino admires you so.
Farewell, my friend. See that you don't make a habit of dozing off in battle.
It just happens sometimes, okay, Estinian? Sometimes God says I gotta go night-night.
I suppose we should all be getting on then. As ever, we will see to the Archon's needs. In the meantime, why not get some rest? You've more than earned it. Go on.
You must be shattered after all that hopping back and forth between worlds. Why not stay here and rest for a while? I'm sure Beck-Lug can manage without you. You've got enough scions to help them, if you ask me. Meanwhile, in Garlemald. Traitors! You would dare deny Lord Nerva the throne? Ah! Onward! Before the day is done, victory shall be ours! Boring, boring, boring. Do you think? I find it amusing, like dogs herding cattle to the slaughterhouse. That Hugh, your soul is... Who are you? Before your majesty, I am but another dog, lost in want of a new master. A hunting dog, if you should wish it so. For I know the full well the prey you would seek next. Zodiac. Meanwhile, in Yulmore on the 1st. Did you hear? The mayor's reopening Daedalus Stoneworks, and they're looking for laborers. Let's talk of resettling some old abandoned villages, too. They're even laying on free Talos to anyone willing to make the move. Free Talos? Ha! We'd best get packing. Steady work, board, and lodging. Nah, if that's not a recipe for hope, I don't know what is. Hope. Yes, so long as I yet live, I would see that feeble flame rekindled. Is my destiny, see our dream fulfilled. That was Ardbert, but Ardbert's not around anymore. Who was that? Ardbert's in my soul. That can't be Ardbert. Alright, so this is how far we made it before, and I just didn't highlight the VOD like a dingus. So now we're on to new turf, new territory. New things. Ryle, what do you gotta say? And Liana, my, what a pleasant surprise. You've come to inquire after the Archons, fear not. Master Matoya's treatment has proven effective in stabilizing their corporeal ether. You mustn't grow complacent, however. Potent though these magics may be, they are not without limits. We can only hope they afford us enough time for the Crystal Exarch to complete his work. Only we could go with you to the first and help. Pardon the interruptions, but I come bearing urgent news. Ah, Kinliana, it's been far too long, my friend. Forgive me, I do not believe you've been formally introduced. Maxima, former Garlean ambassador. I remain here in Eorzea under the auspices of Commander Alden, offering what counsel I can in the hopes of resolving the present conflict with the Empire. Ah yes, I've heard stories of a defector from Garlemald, but never mind that. You said you have urgent news? Indeed. As you may have heard, the Imperial capital is in turmoil, and a sizable portion of the Garlean forces have been recalled from the Gimlet Dark. With their numbers so greatly diminished, the main host of the Alliance has withdrawn, leaving the Alamegan resistance to help watch over the border. And it is there we have welcomed a most unexpected visitor who claims this de-escalation may belay growing dangers and unforeseen threats. Commander Alden has arranged for an impromptu meeting to discuss these revelations. He's also requested a representative of the Scions attend as well, though it was clear to whom he wished I extend this invitation. It seemed times of the essence. Well, he'll not be attending this meeting alone. Though I am not as well versed in the affairs of the city-states as our comrades, I see no reason to burden a single Scion with all this. Yes, of course. We must make for the Alamegan quarter with all haste. Well, what are you waiting for? Get going, you two! Commander Alden awaits us in the Royal Palace, if you would follow me.
They're here, Commander.
And I, for one, am grateful that they are. Told you've been busy since our paths last crossed at the Gimlet Dark. Not that I understand half of it. When the Scions spoke of other worlds, I'd struggled to describe what I pictured. Mayhap things would seem clearer were I to hear the tale from your own lips. But I'm afraid the situation will not afford us that luxury. I trust you two require no introduction.
We meet again, hero of Eorzea. Must we repeat this ridiculous display? I pose no threat to you, though what I come to warn you of very well might.
Had he meant to do us harm, I hazard he would have kept to the shadows, and brought more than 2 companions. We need not pretend to be the best of friends, but I hope we can put aside our differences for the present.
As you are doubtless aware, Sir Estinian and I cooperated to rid the world of Black Rose in your absence. Our journey together took us as far as the Imperial Palace, where we witnessed Emperor Varus meet his death at Xenos' hand. Being the sole witnesses to this crime, and in no position to defend our innocence, we were then forced to flee, each pursuing his own avenue of escape. When we were later reunited, Estinian claimed to have encountered an unfamiliar kind of machina during his flight, but to me his description seemed anything but, and upon further investigation I found that I was right. The Empire is developing a new Ultima weapon.
What, that Allagan monstrosity, created to vanquish primals, with which you yourself once thought to conquer Eorzea?
The same. In my foolishness, I sought to harness its power, and became the Ascian's pawn in so doing. But you know as well as I how that tale ended. The weapon itself, excavated from beneath this very city, was destroyed ere we could fully unravel its secrets, and that should have been the end of it. But unlikely as it sounds, the Empire's efforts to recreate it have somehow borne fruit, primarily through secret research conducted by the 7th Imperial Legion, it would seem.
Wait, the 7th was all but annihilated at Cartano, along with its legatus.
Indeed, few survived. The 7th, as it is now, has little in common with the Legion led by Vandanis, and its leadership has changed hands several times since. Precisely how this project has continued despite such turmoil, and under whose auspices, remains a mystery. What we do know, however, is that a number of prototypes have been produced, and that one of them is on its way to Eorzea. We attempted to stop it, but it was all we could do to slow its progress, so we resolved instead to bring you warning.
And right glad are we that you did, though it soundly dashed our hopes that tensions might ease at last.
As it is, we've begun to strengthen our presence in the Gimlet Dark, and are assembling a force to meet the coming threat. A force with you in its vanguard, I hope. Before you say anything, I know full well you have pressing concerns of your own. Your comrades remain in peril, and I would not ask you to forsake them. But the fact remains that you, and you alone, have faced the Ultima weapon, and emerged victorious. We need you. And so, when the time comes, if your comrades can spare you, I bid you lend us your strength. I've assigned an officer to await your word.
The Ascian's downfall was to be the work of my remaining days. But it was my hand that kindled these flames, and I cannot allow them to spread any further. I will do what I must to see this mistake consigned to history once and for all. Even if it means begging your aid. The Fates will enjoy the irony, even as I endure the ignominy.
I too shall make for the border and offer my skills, meager though they seem in such company. Mayhap we shall meet there anon.
Though we can ill afford to ignore the coming of a new Ultima weapon, our friend's plight grows ever more precarious, and none save you can join them in the first. I only hope you are not forced to make a choice.
As ever, the way forward is paved with difficult decisions. We can ill afford to ignore the threat of a new Ultima weapon. With each passing day, the plight of the Scions grows ever more perilous. We cannot stay for the debriefing on the Ultima weapon. I will not stay. I will not stop you. I only ask that you confer with me before returning to the first. And that's where the primals of this X-Pack came in, so we're not actually going to do anything involving this Ultima weapon now, because, not part of the main story. Don't care. Just kidding, I'll care later. I take it you're ready to return to the first? Then I would ask you apprise the others of recent events here in the source, namely Xenos' return and the development of a new Ultima weapon. As for their bodies, you may assure them Master Matoya and I will continue doing what we can to keep their corporeal ether stable. Safe travels, Kinliana. I hope to see you and the other Scions soon. You've come at a most opportune time, my friend. I've made something of a breakthrough in my research on the soul, and a means to return the Scions home. I trust you too have been making good use of your time. Ill tidings from the source, you say? And I will summon the others that we might all be apprised of the situation.
Now that we are all here, what news from the source?
Should be bad, yo.
A new Ultima weapon? We must count ourselves lucky that Gaius has pledged his assistance.
While this is indeed a worrying development, I think the state of the Empire as a whole greater grounds for concern. With the Emperor slain and Xenos returned, it is impossible to predict how matters will unfold in Garlemald. The Ultima weapon may be but the first of many unpleasant surprises.
The situation beareth closer observation, of that there is no doubt, and doth compound our need to return unto the source.
Then let us address that issue. Our long search for a means to see you safely home may well be nearing its conclusion. Thanks in large part to Urianger and Beklug's invaluable insight, we have succeeded in fashioning a vessel for the journey.
We set out to create a crystalline container retaining the more useful properties of white aurosite, but without its regrettable limitations. And after a good deal of trial and error, we made one. An ark for soul and mind both, that will allow your incorporeal self in its entirety to be ferried between worlds. A spirit vessel, if you will. However...
Though the vessel is possessed of the requisite qualities to hold mind and memory, it wanteth yet for a means to receive of them. For that, we must needs imbue it with the Exarch's innate gift.
A gift that lives on only through the blood of the Allagan Emperors, which certainly does not flow within aurosite or any other crystal.
Just so, milady. The blood serveth as a conduit of sorts. In its absence, memory cannot pass from mind unto mind, nor from flesh unto crystal.
That being the case, we must either alter the process of inheritance so as to require no such thing, or determine a means by which my blood may permeate the vessel. I am hopeful that the records found within this tower will yield the knowledge we require to pursue one or the other of these avenues.
As well you should be. The Allagan's body of etherological research is extraordinary. I can scarce believe it the work of ages past. But its underlying principles are not so very different from those of my own field of study. Given time, we will find the answers we seek.
I know that you can ill afford to wait, and it pains me that I must ask you to do so. I can only reaffirm my promise to you that a solution will be found. Whatever it takes, I will see you safely home.
My apologies.
I do hope you haven't come to tell us that mortal peril fast approaches.
No. I had hoped to speak with the Warrior of Darkness. But there is no need to cut short your meeting on my account. I will be waiting outside.
Why not speak in here? She knows I don't mind. Unless she didn't want to.
Perhaps I might accompany you. Though I am woefully ill-qualified to assist in the Exarch's research, I may yet be of some use to Lena.
I must confess, while I enjoy my fair share of scholarly research, it will be good to step outside for a spot of fresh air. Now then, shall we go and speak with Lena? We have little time, so I will be brief. A Sin Eater has been sighted in Lakeland, and I ask for your assistance in slaying it. A Sin Eater? But I'd heard some few yet remained after the knight had returned, but perhaps we should call the others. That will not be necessary. There's only a single Sin Eater, a simple task for our guard, I should think. That said, I believe fighting alongside the Warrior of Darkness would be a valuable experience for them. Peace can lead to complacency, and they gain nothing from an easy victory. But you do not underestimate your foes, however harmless they may seem. My men would do well to learn from your example. Be about it then. Excellent. Then let us make for Fort Job. You would wait here a moment, I'll gather the others. You may not remember, but you have met these soldiers once before, though only in passing. Long have they awaited the opportunity to fight at your side. It was at death's door that day after the Sin Eaters attacked. It was if you and yours hadn't come along, I'd have likely stepped through, and I wouldn't have been alone. Your courage and selflessness is something we all aspire to. I too was there that terrible day. My friend was transformed into a Sin Eater before my very eyes, and I had no choice but to cut her down. The thought of returning to the fields, holding the blade again, it filled me with dread. There's no way to honor her or my comrades. That is no way to honor her or my comrades, and so I've returned. I swear I will not let you or anyone else down from this day forward. Pleasure to meet you, miss. Truly. Seems like only yesterday I watched as you took flight astride Namaro to go and save the Oracle. Strange to think that the Olmoran soldiers we once locked blades with are now on our side, but we will do our utmost to keep the peace here in Lakeland. We seem to be missing one. My apologies, Captain Lena. An elderly gentleman asked that I escort him to Clearmelt. It took longer than I anticipated. I'll not begrudge your desire to help those in need, but a soldier must be punctual, especially when we play host to honored guests. Won't happen again. The name's Thaler. I'm sure you don't remember, but we met once before in the infirmary. I asked you to deliver a message to the Exarch and the Warrior of Darkness. Little did I know I was already talking to her. Don't give up, don't give in. I kept those words close to my heart, and the boundless, beautiful skies above serve as a reminder of their importance. My friend got to see the knight's return shortly before he passed. He left this world with a smile, satisfied with a glimpse of what was to come. There are countless others who weren't so fortunate. They gave their lives for the promise of a future they'll never know, and so it falls to us to do everything we can to fulfill that promise. No matter what happens, we won't give up, we won't give in. Your heroism has inspired all of our guardsmen in much the same manner. Our scouts at the northern staging point have not had the pleasure of meeting you in person. Let us not keep them waiting.
Did you slay this Eater? Your orders were to await the main force before engaging.
No, Captain. It wasn't us, I swear it. A man came out of nowhere and cut it down before we knew what was happening.
By himself? Certainly it is no Light Warden, but nevertheless.
It's true. Felled it with a single swing of his axe, he did. I've never seen anything like it. So I says to him, "Who are you, the warrior of bleeding darkness?" And he says, "No, I'm a warrior of light." And that was it. Buggered off as quick as he came. A warrior of light?
Why would someone go around calling himself that, though? It was those bastards who caused the flood. I mean, if you were going to pretend to be anyone, it'd be her. The Warrior of Darkness.
Eh? Oh, I didn't know. It's an honor.
Since the Eater is no longer a threat, our work here is done. Return to your posts.
I had hoped to fight at your side today. But I'll continue to follow your example, and may we meet again.
I apologize for the wasted journey. It seems I overestimated the threat. As for this Warrior of Light, I do not know who would be brazen enough to take that mantle for his own. Whatever it may once have meant, it is forever tainted by the association with the Flood. The Exarch told me the truth of Ardbert and his comrades' deeds, and I am aware they played some part in your own triumph. But to most, they are synonymous with the calamity that befell this world. Still, if this man is minded to destroy Sin Eaters, I may forgive him his unfortunate choice of alias. But that is neither here nor there. I thank you for accompanying me.
With that concluded, shall we return to the Crystarium? There is a proposal I should like to make.
Forgive me. There is one more thing. A personal concern of mine. I had hoped you might have a moment to speak privately.
Take your time. I shall go on ahead.
I will not mince words. This matter concerns the Exarch. Though his countenance belies his age, his demeanor never has. He has seen more than any man should and grown ever more weary with time. But I see I give the wrong impression. While it is true he attempted to open a letter with a salmon fillet the other evening, we are not here because I suspect his mind is deteriorating. Nor do I believe him to be so maddeningly unconcerned by the prospect of his own death as he once was. Indeed, the opposite is true. It is for this reason that I seek your advice. Since he returned from the Tempest, the Exarch is not as he was. He seems a different man. A younger man. I know not the details of his research, but when I saw him at work recently, there was a glint in his eye that I had never seen before. He looked happy. It was as if he had peered into the future and for the first time found joy there. Though it gladdens me to see him thus, I wonder if I should not keep my distance. I fear that my presence will only anchor him to the past, remind him of all the pain that came before.
He's lost without you, you know, and he misses you already.
Are you sure? Then perhaps we might remain as we were. As we have always been. What a relief. In that case, I will have to speak with him about the amount of time he is spending at work. This research is important, I know, but if he refuses to consider his own health, I will have to consider it for him.
Precious Lena. Lena and Graha's relationship is just precious. I will not keep you. You and your comrades have much to discuss. I will see the others back to their posts. The others were quite shocked to hear of what we had found in Lakeland. But now that you're here, there's a proposal I should like to make. I've been spending a great deal of time in the Cabinet of Curiosity, and of late I have noted more and more people perusing books on history, the years leading up to the Flood in particular. I suspect they wish to know more about the Warriors of Light. As well they should, but nearly everything I've come across describes them as sin-eaters or worse. Regardless of whether or not this Warrior of Light is who they claim to be, I worry that their sudden appearance in conjecture with this renewed interest in their predecessors may lead to growing unrest and fear. If the people in the Crystarium seek the truth, I say we give it to them. I, too, can attest to the falsehoods found within full many of the Cabinet's tomes, with nary a mention of the noble deeds of Ardbert and his comrades. To be fair, they bear some responsibility for the Flood, but when the tale is told again and again over the course of a century, I'm not surprised to see their roles distorted and them painted as villains. Were it not for the records stored within the Crystal Tower, I would have had no reason to question the narrative. Unfortunately, that knowledge was of no use, for when I arrived here in the First, their reputation had already been irreparably tarnished. That said, there still remained those who worked tirelessly to defend their good name in those early days following the Flood. Considering all the good they had done, I find it a wonder they needed defending at all. They brought to justice the man who misused my knowledge to bring about the fall of Verbert. That such heroes could be spoken of in the same breath as sin-eaters is absurd. Under normal circumstances, I would agree, but as time passed, those who knew firsthand of their deeds dwindled. In the end, only the truth remained, that they were the cause of the Flood. With the world on the brink of oblivion, it was all too easy for the Warriors of Light to become villains, deserving only of resentment and hate. At that point, the truth mattered little. It would not change their lot. Thanks to you all, however, their lot has changed. Now they may heed the long-forgotten truth. You claimed it was Ardbert who helped you overcome Emmett Selk, correct? Such a revelation would do well to sway the hearts of those who knew him only as a villain. I have shared this with a select few, but one and all must be told of his sacrifice. To that end, I say we proceed with Alfino's plan. We call together the people of the Crystarium and recount to them the true tale of the Warriors of Light and the Flood that followed in their wake. Well, what say you, Kinliana? Spread the word, I say. Then we are one mind on the matter. Good. Exarch, might I ask you to continue working with Beck-Luke on means of returning home? The rest of us will see to gathering the people of the Crystarium and the XIV. We have to reach out to anyone and everyone who might be willing to lend an ear. With any luck, word will spread, and more will accompany them. And Liana, my, what a wonderful surprise! Though I hope your being here doesn't mean someone's been hurt. Thanks to you, I've had far fewer patients coming through my door of late, which is a shame, come to think of it. I've had fewer opportunities to test my new medicine. I jest, of course. It's actually been quite pleasant to have a few moments to myself now and again. The truth about the Warriors of Light. But the Exarch has already spoken with me about them. Well, if there's more to the tale, I'd very much like to hear it. Well, to what do I owe the pleasure? Whatever it is, I must ask you to be brief. With the night returned, visitors have been flocking to the Crystarium, and I find myself too busy by half. I don't mind it, though. Seeing the stairs so full of life is excitement. One can almost forget the flood ever happened. The Warriors of Light? Yes, the Exarch has mentioned them before, but everyone knows them now as the Cardinal Virtues. Are you suggesting there's more to it than that? Well, you've yet to steer us wrong, so I'm willing to hear what you have to say. Come to browse wares on the market, have you? Well, I can guarantee you'll have no trouble finding what you need, whatever it may be. Under Yulmore's new leadership, trade has never been more prosperous. Word is it that fellow from Daedalus Stoneworks has taken over as mayor. Did he really? Little wonder business is booming the way it is. I imagine it won't be long before all of Norvent reaps the benefits. But you've not come to talk about the market. Something on your mind? I see. The Exarch did mention they had something to do with your returning the knight to Norvent. Alright, consider my interest piqued. Well, what a coincidence. I was just reading over a letter I received from Grenell not long ago. He says a visitor from the Crystarium found him at the bottom of the ocean, and that she inspired him to reach new artistic heights. Well, I can only think of one person capable of both feats, though I'd say the latter is far more impressive. I think fate could bring the two of you together in such a place. I'm sorry, you mean the Exarch didn't tell us the whole story of the Warriors of Light? Well, whatever he's left unsaid, I'm all ears. No, this can't be. Surely there has to be at least one book here that does not cast the Warriors of Light and their deeds in such a negative light. Oh, Kinliana, forgive me. The Cabinet of Curiosity has been bustling with visitors of late, but I fear a repository lacks for the knowledge they seek. The people wish to know the truth of the Flood, of the Warriors of Light. I've searched high and low, but alas, every account portrays them as no better than sin-eaters, abominations, worthy of only scorn and resentment. I knew they were not always judged so harshly, yet I can find no proof, and I dare call myself a librarian. You would address the people and tell them the truth of the Warriors of Light? Of the Flood? How wonderful! You've regaled me with the tale once before, but I should love to hear it again. Oh, and you may be assured I will not come alone. There you are. Between the four of us, I dare say we've swept the Custarium from top to bottom. Now we need but wait for the people to gather.
Yes, this looks to be nearly everyone. Let us begin, shall we? Though I am usually the first to hold forth at such events, I think on this occasion that honor should fall to you.
They would be more inclined to take the word of the Warrior of Darkness.
Indeed. In light of the subject matter, who better than thee to speak these truths?
They were just good noodles. Trying to do the right thing, you know? And then they came to my world and they tried to kill me because they thought it would save all of you. It wouldn't have. They traveled back with Minfilia, and she fixed it. And then Emmett Selk helped me save the day. Or then Arbert helped me save the day against Emmett Selk. Still good noodles.
Wicked White. The Warriors of Light did all that?
So they never... I mean, they only ever wanted to help. And when everything they'd done turned to ash, they still carried on.
They gave everything to stop the Flood. First their lives, then their souls. And they managed it too, in the end. They saved us. And we cursed their names.
This should go a long way towards clearing the air.
Uh-oh. That's not Ardbert.
Impossible.
You can see him too.
I definitely see something. You don't think it's a ghost, do you?
Nay. Yonder standeth no bloodless apparition, but a warrior of light and darkness both.
Ardbert.
What in the world?
It's you! The one who slew the Eater! That it should be the Warrior of Darkness who brought the truth to light. You've saved me a fair bit of time, though I have a few words of my own to say, if I may. People of the Crystarium, I am Ardbert, one of those you know as a Warrior of Light.
That's impossible. You should be dead.
Aye, that I should. But as the world has been given new life, so too have I. I know not why I, and I alone, have been gifted this chance. But I do know this. Only by the will of the star itself could such a miracle come to pass. The hero who stands before you now, the Warrior of Darkness, is not of this world. And the day will come when she must return to her home. But this land is our home. And if it is to remain so, now and forevermore, it is we who must protect it. The time to rely on saviors from afar has passed. It is you who must rise. You who must become the new Warriors of Light!
What? Us? Warriors of Light?
None of us were born heroes, my friend. I was only ever a man with a thirst for adventure. But wherever my journeys took me, I was invariably confronted with the same choice. To lend what aid I could to those in need, or not. And I always chose the former. Any one of you could do the same. All you need is the will to help your fellow man, and the resolve to see it through.
From thine own lips did we learn of Ardbert's fate, and by thy countenance I gather thou art not inclined to recant thy testimony. Yet whosoever this man may be, his words hold truth and resonate with the citizenry besides. For us to voice our doubts here and now would serve but to sow disquiet. 'Twere better we retired unto the ocular and there discuss this matter in private.
Go. I will stay here and watch.
So, that is a Warrior of Light of the First. I've not had the pleasure of making his acquaintance, but as you all seem to be in agreement, I gather this is no simple case of mistaken identity.
As far as I was able to discern, that was indeed Ardbert. It has been a long time, but not that long. Could he truly have been resurrected as he claims?
No. Absolutely not.
Ardbert did entrust his very soul unto thee. I see no reason to question thy judgment.
Nor I. To my eyes, your ether burns as brightly as the day you slew Emmett Selk. That is proof that he is with you still.
Yet that which standeth now before the people is far more than a passing imitation. I am reminded of the cardinal virtues, though a sin-eater he is not. Which leaveth but one plausible explanation.
That he is an Ascian.
Given their fondness for posthumous possession, I would have to agree. From what I understand, the Warriors of Light were laid to rest in Yulmore by those whom they had aided in life. At the time, some few still remembered them as heroes. Needless to say, 4 of them were subsequently exhumed to serve as the Virtues. And if one knew where to look, Ardbert too would not have been difficult to find.
Assuming then that this is indeed the work of an Ascian, my mind inevitably turns to the last remaining paragon to survive the Sundering.
Elidibus. That Xenos hath reclaimed his own flesh is known. Thus evicted from his borrowed form and cognizant no doubt of Emmett Selk's failure here in the First, 'tis quite possible the emissary chose Ardbert for his next vessel.
Inhabiting the flesh of the fallen. My, that is unsavory. And they do this often, you say?
Verily, for they possess no corporeal forms of their own. In what one may term their natural state, none save those gifted with the echo can perceive them. Indeed, when Elidibus intruded upon the waking sands, his presence did go unmarked by all save Minfilia and the Warrior of Light. On that occasion, I myself remained ignorant of his coming until after his departure. It was only at a later juncture, when he deigned to appear before me in borrowed flesh, that I was finally able to take the measure of him. In such puppetry do the Ascians engage when they seek to influence the course of history.
And they have gained much by it. Emmett Selk single-handedly built the Garlean Empire in this manner, while the Hebrea came close to conquering Eorzea, having taken possession of Thancred's living body.
Yet it must needs be noted that the Ascians cannot avail themselves of all mortal vessels. For were they able to do so, none would serve as a better pawn than our own redoubtable champion. Mayhap the blessing of light shieldeth Hydaelyn's chosen from Ascian influence. Or mayhap other forces are at work. We cannot say for certain.
Whatever the reason, I hope it holds true. I dare not contemplate what might come to pass otherwise.
Is it not peculiar, then, that Ardbert's mortal remains should be susceptible, given that he was once a warrior of light? Or did the final departure of his soul make it possible, perhaps? Regardless, to hear an Ascian use him to call forth new warriors of light boggles the mind.
Elidibus hath ever been an enigma, his ostensible purpose being to preserve the balance between light and dark. When he made overtures towards me, however, I was afforded a glimpse behind the mask of the self-appointed emissary. I shall not defend mine actions, undertaken in pursuit of a better understanding of our foe as either wise or prudent. Nevertheless, what little I did glean may now prove useful. Elidibus possesseth a subtle mind, practiced in the art of manipulation. That he coaxed this star's most valiant heroes as far as the source with naught save half-truths is no trifling feat. And now I believe he doth employ his skills once more to some as yet unknown end. Though naught is certain, should my suspicions prove true, we shall have need of all our wits if we are to uncover and thereafter thwart his plot.
Agreed. 'Tis plain that simply speaking out against him will not avail us. At best, it would only serve to confuse the people. And I would hesitate to do anything which might tarnish Ardbert's reputation once more, nor yours by association. That being the case, it may be wise to keep a covert eye on this Ardbert's movements, as we attempt to discern his purpose and how best to mitigate his influence.
His performance appears to have concluded. What now? Go back out and follow him?
Twould appear Master Alphino already hath pursuit in mind, and I suspect one pair of eyes shall better serve our cause than half a dozen. Let the rest of us maintain an inconspicuous distance, for the present at least.
I think that is where I'm going to leave off. Short stream, but that's what happens when you tilt off the face of the earth during a speedrun. Yeah, I'm gonna go get some soup and sleep early, probably, because I'm extremely tired. So thanks for hanging out with me, if anyone's lurking. New Game Plus will continue soon. Have a fantastic evening, and catch you later.